Hello, my name is Luis Gonzalez, and I will be informing you on the topic of police brutality. Police brutality is an issue that has become more and more common here today in the United States. When you think of police officers, you expect them to be there to serve and protect you as citizens, since that is what they were sworn to do when they were appointed as police officers. Unfortunately, that is not always the case. Police officers make mistakes just like we do, since they are humans. Police brutality is probably the most significant mistake that they can make because it not only affects them, but it affects other people. Police brutality is basically the use of excessive force or unnecessary force by a police officer when contacting a civilian or making an arrest. One of the most significant police brutality cases that is known worldwide is the beating of Rodney King, who was an American taxi driver in the city of Los Angeles. Los Angeles Police Department police officers brutally beat Rodney King to arrest him. His beating was caught on camera and was nationally seen by many people, which caused a great unrest all throughout the world. The media also has a huge influence on the way that police brutality is seen. The media has caused the issue of police brutality to become more known and is responsible for making it the huge controversy that it is today. The media selects certain clips that they just want to show in order for the people, the public, to see it in a way where the police officers are the bad guys. But most of the time, it's not necessarily like that. They just show the part where the officer is doing the wrong, but they don't show the series of events that led up to the officer acting in the way that he did. Police brutality, unfortunately, causes a lot of changes to our society. The people begin to not trust police as much. Therefore, they don't report crimes. They do not cooperate with the police. So if a crime happens, they're not going to go out and tell them, you know what, this took place. They're just going to keep it to themselves and, have the police do their work and, work harder in order to find out what happened. Riots are another thing that take place when police brutality happens. Riots basically happen because people believe that their rights are being violated, so they want to be heard. So they go out and start causing havoc throughout the streets, burning buildings, breaking windows, vandalizing, in order for their word to be heard. Some of the cases that have taken place today include victims like Freddie Gray, Philando Castile, Eric Garner, Charles Kinsey, and Stephon Clark. The first one, Freddie Gray, he was arrested. He somehow suffered spine injuries while his arrest in police custody. These spine injuries caused him to unfortunately pass away. This was something that was, that caused unrest because the injuries that he had were obviously done in police custody. Philando Castile, he was shot by a police officer in a traffic stop. When he was pulled over, he informed the police officer that he had a weapon. He was he could carry it. He went to reach to give the officer his weapon. It's clearly in the video. It clearly showed that the officer, he just reacted to it. So he was shot. He unfortunately died from that. Eric Garner, I'm pretty sure a lot of us know what took place. He was contacted by plainclothes police. They tried to take him down. They put him in a chokehold. He unfortunately suffocated during the chokehold because he was not compliant with the police. You can hear him, say, "I can't breathe," but unfortunately, the cops had to do what they had to do. Charles Kinsey is a guy in Miami who was a caretaker of a sick individual. The sick individual was in the middle of the street. He had an object. The cops just saw that it was an object. It was actually a toy truck. So the caretaker went out with him, and he was trying to tell the police, you know what? He just has a toy truck. He's not doing anything. So the caretaker stood there next to him with his hands in the air, but the police officers still fired and shot the caretaker in the leg. The final victim, Stephon Clark, was recent. Two Sacramento Police Department police officers shot and killed Stephon Clark. There was a call of a person who was breaking into a vehicle. Stephon Clark lived in the neighborhood. He was seen running. He ran into his grandparents' backyard. He was there. When police came up to contact him, he had an object in his hand, which was his cell phone. He was laying flat on the ground. And before he was laying flat on the ground, he walked, forward. But once he threw himself to the ground, he put his hands out, so, surrendering. But the police officers fired over 20 shots, hitting him in the back where he died. In conclusion, police brutality is just something that needs to be resolved. It needs to be ended, but it needs to be ended without violence, without, causing a huge scene. It just needs to be done with peace. Ended with peace, and that's it.